What do you do when ideas are not worthy of debate or validation? In contemporary discourse, it is common to encounter the phenomenon where individuals dismiss their ideological opponents by claiming their ideas are unworthy of debate or validation in some cases. This attitude is rooted in the belief that engaging with certain perspectives would grant them or their less than ideal ideas an undue legitimacy, and that those holding opposing views are inherently inferior or even evil and incapable of meaningful discussion or debate. This notion, often described as a form of intellectual gatekeeping, suggests that some ideas are so fundamentally flawed that they should not be entertained, let alone debated. Some proponents of this stance argue that by debating ideas they consider to be invalid or dangerous even, they risk elevating these views to a level of respectability that they do not deserve. This perceived legitimacy, they contend, could mislead the public into believing that all viewpoints are equally valid, regardless of their empirical or moral grounding. As a result, these individuals maintain that it is better to reject the debate outright rather than engage with what they see as inherently irrational or even harmful ideologies. This approach often stems from a conviction in the absolute correctness of one's own beliefs. Those who adhere to this mindset may view their own ideas as not only superior, but as the only rational or moral standpoint. Consequently, they consider opposing views to be not just wrong, but fundamentally unworthy of consideration. This perspective can lead to a dismissal of debate as unnecessary and even counterproductive in some cases, as it implies that all opinions deserve equal consideration, which they believe is not the case. However, the refusal to engage in debate can have unintended consequences. By categorically dismissing opposing views, individuals may contribute to the polarization of discourse and the entrenchment of ideological divides. This can create an environment where dialogue is stifled and the opportunity for mutual understanding and the refinement of ideas is lost. Moreover, refusing to debate can reinforce the perception that one's own beliefs are dogmatic and unassailable, potentially alienating those who might otherwise be open to persuasion. Critics of this approach argue that engaging in debate is essential for a healthy and vibrant intellectual environment. They contend that through debate, even flawed ideas can be scrutinized and dismantled publicly, providing an educational experience for observers and participants alike. This process can clarify and strengthen valid arguments while exposing the weakness of untenable positions. Additionally, engaging with ideological opponents can demonstrate a commitment to the principles of free speech and open inquiry, which are foundational to democratic societies and even science as a whole. The refusal to debate ideological opponents on the grounds that it would grant them legitimacy can reflect a belief in the inherent superiority of one's own ideas and the unworthiness of opposing views. While this stance aims to protect the integrity of certain beliefs, it can also contribute to the polarization of discourse and the stagnation of intellectual engagement. Engaging in debate, despite the risks, remains a crucial aspect of fostering understanding and a critical examination in a diverse and pluralistic society. If truth be told, the refusal to debate ideological opponents can only lead to a few logical conclusions, impacting both the individual and the broader cohesion of societal developments. These conclusions will inevitably manifest as consequences that prevent the capacity for opposing ideologies or groups to more cohesively shape public discourse in the intellectual climate, and to find their common ground and a point from which they can progress in a united voice for the benefit of the individual, the family, and society as a whole. When individuals refuse to debate opposing views, it can reinforce existing divisions and create echo chambers. Within these insulated environments, people only encounter ideas that reinforce their own beliefs, good, bad, or ugly. This leads to increased polarization. The lack of exposure to differing perspectives diminishes the opportunity for understanding and compromise, further entrenching ideological divides. Debate and dialogue are also essential for the evolution of ideas. Refusing to engage with opposing viewpoints can lead to intellectual stagnation, where ideas remain unchallenged and unrefined. This can and historically has resulted in the perpetuation of dogmatic beliefs or cult-like behavior and a lack of critical thinking, as individuals are not encouraged to defend or reconsider their positions even in light of new evidence or arguments. Historically, this has almost always led to authoritarian rule, where anyone with an opposing viewpoint can easily be demonized personally, segregated as a societal outcast, and ultimately even jailed or otherwise being ostracized and removed from society. This in turn ultimately results in a society that is leaving those in a position of power safe and secure, easily capable of criminalizing anything even remotely unsupportive of the organizational structure and control, or what is effectively an authoritarian state. A healthy, democratized organizational structure relies on the free exchange of ideas and the ability to debate and discuss differing viewpoints. Refusing to engage in debate undermines these principles, as it suggests that some ideas are not worthy of consideration or discussion. This can further erode the foundation of democratic discourse, where all voices, even those deemed controversial or unpopular, should have the opportunity to be heard and debated. When certain viewpoints are dismissed outright, it can lead to the marginalization of those who hold these views. This can foster feelings of resentment and alienation, as individuals may feel that their perspectives are not valued or respected. It often leads to social unrest in one form or another. These marginalized groups may become more radicalized or further deeper entrenched in their beliefs, feeling excluded from mainstream discourse, leading ultimately to social disruption and an increase in the powers vested to and or assumed by the authoritarian leadership or the authoritarian state. The refusal to debate can also create a false sense of intellectual and moral superiority among those who dismiss opposing views. This can lead to arrogance and closed-minded natures, where individuals believe their positions are unassailable, beyond reproach, and not even subject to scrutiny. Such an attitude can inhibit personal growth and the development of a more nuanced understanding of systemic and other complex issues. Engaging in debate allows for the correction of misinformation and the presentation of accurate information. Refusing to debate can allow false or misleading ideas to go unchallenged, potentially gaining traction among those who are not exposed to counter-arguments. This can contribute to the spread of misinformation and hinder efforts to inform the public accurately. When individuals or institutions refuse to debate, it can also lead to a loss of trust among the general public. People may perceive this refusal as a lack of confidence in the ability to defend their own ideas, or as an indication that there's something there to hide. This can undermine the credibility of individuals or groups who do refuse to engage in open and honest public discourse. The refusal to debate opposing viewpoints can also lead to increased polarization, intellectual stagnation, the erosion of democratic principles, the marginalization of dissenting voices, a false sense of superiority, the perpetuation of misinformation and disinformation, and reduced public trust, ultimately leading to social disruption. Engaging in debate, on the other hand, despite any challenges, remains crucial for fostering a dynamic, inclusive, and informed society. No ideas are beneath discourse, debate, or discussion. Encouraging an open and honest forum for social discourse is imperative for the health and progression of any societal structure. Such a forum allows for the free exchange of ideas, fostering a culture of transparency, accountability, and continuous and more democratized societal improvement. It is essential to hold everyone in check, particularly those in positions of power and control, to prevent the abuse of authority and to ensure that leaders act in the best interest of the public. Open discourse provides a platform for scrutinizing policies and actions, thereby promoting accountability and preventing the concentration of power that can lead to authoritarianism and social disruption. Moreover, Encouraging open discourse allows for the full exposure and examination of all ideologies, including those that are poorly conceived or fundamentally flawed. By debating these ideas openly, their deficiencies can be thoroughly illuminated and understood even by the simplest of individuals. This process not only discredits untenable position, but also serves as an educational function, highlighting the importance of critical thinking and evidence-based reasoning. Those who hold ignorant or extreme views are given the opportunity to reveal their lack of substance, which can help discredit harmful ideologies and discourage their proliferation. In a society where critical thinking is cultivated from an early age, individuals are better equipped to evaluate arguments, distinguish between sound and unsound reasoning, and engage in informed debate and discussion, not just arguments. This educational foundation empowers citizens to actively participate in a more democratic process and to hold leaders accountable. It ensures that those in control cannot pursue authoritarian measures unchecked, as an informed and critically thinking populace will recognize and actively resist any attempts to undermine their freedoms and liberties. The true benefit of fostering open discourse and critical thinking lies in its capacity to safeguard democracy and individual freedoms. Leaders who attempt to consolidate power for personal gain are more likely to be challenged and removed by a populace that values liberty and demands transparency. The constant vigilance and active participation of the public serve as a deterrent to authoritarian ambitions, ensuring that power is distributed and exercised in a manner that prioritizes the well-being of individuals, families, and local communities, and ensuring that it is ultimately possible to gain a foothold and to actively pursue systemically sustainable human growth and development. An open forum for social discourse is essential for maintaining a just and free society. It holds those in power accountable, exposes flawed ideologies, and educates the public on the importance of critical thinking. By ensuring that leaders are always subject to scrutiny and cannot resort to authoritarian tactics to maintain control, such a forum serves to protect the individual and collective freedoms. Ultimately, debating bad ideas with good ideas fosters an open and honest sociological environment where leaders must work for the benefit of the people or face the inevitable consequence of being ousted by a vigilant, informed, and critically thinking citizenry. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment below.